everybody, and happy New Year. Out with 2022 and in with 2023 at midnight. Hello, everybody. I am Dustin Starr coming to you live for the very last time here on our YouTube channel in the year of 2022. And what a way to end the year. We had hardcore holidays followed by a huge championship match, a special challenge from Big John Dalton, and of course Mike Anthony was more than willing to accept, and also it did not end very well. But I think the point of this fight in episode 97 was standing up for yourself, standing up for your family against a bully. And Big John Dalton, I'm proud of him for doing that. But let's talk some Memphis wrestling, everybody. Happy New Year, Big Dan. Oh my gosh. I saw him in here first and foremost. Joseph, one of the very first people that I met from the show, who is actually a fan. He won a championship belt in year one. What's up, Joseph? Hey, Rob, how are you? Lurvy says, Happy New Year, Dustin. R.I.P. Don West, and happy birthday to Vance Nevada, Canadian pro wrestler. We'll talk about Don West in just a second. Steve, what's going on? He says, thank you, everyone, for a great year. Man, thank you. I really appreciate it. Rob says, Big John Dalton did well. Glad he didn't end up with blood. Man, I'm telling you, referee David Knight was very close to stopping that match. Wrestling with MMA, thank you so much for the donations during the live episode. Remember seeing your name in the chat since day one before it was Memphis Wrestling, so we really appreciate that. Thank you, Wrestling with MMA. It says Big John showed out today. He may have lost the match, but he won in my eyes. And I agree. I think that 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, however long down the line, Big John Dalton's going to use that as a building block, and he has some rich history here in Memphis Wrestling already, even at a very young age. Stacy, what's up? What an exciting time for Memphis Wrestling. No kidding. So real quick, before I go any further, when I'm done with this live reaction, I need you to go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. At the very top, there's a banner that says awards. It's the 2022 Best of Memphis Wrestling Awards, and you can vote. So we have our Man of the Year, our Woman of the Year, our Tag Team of the Year, our Manager of the Year, our Rookie of the Year, new category, Best Moment of the Year, Top TV Match of the Year, and of course the MVP of 2022. Now you have today and tomorrow to cast your vote, and then on Monday, all throughout the day on social media, we're going to release the winners of those categories, and let me tell you, it is very, very tight right now. But no spoilers. Just wanted to remind everybody to go ahead and place your vote for the Best of 2022. Let me get all caught up right quick. Michael says, ladies and gentlemen, the wrestling promoter of 2022, Dustin 5-star. Oh yeah, well, I will gladly accept that, Michael. I appreciate it, even though it is a fan-given award or a self-proclaimed award. But thank you for that, Michael. I really appreciate it. We're working very hard each and every year, each and every day, each and every second to make Memphis Wrestling better. Breezy, how are you? Happy New Year, happy hardcore holidays. Keith says that was a great match. I thought Dalton would have won the title from Mike. Oh my gosh, could you imagine if Big John Dalton, at what, 16 years old, became the Memphis Heritage Champion? I will tell you, he definitely has to be the youngest in history to not only have a match. I'm trying to think, did I have a match at 15? Man, I started training when I was 15, so he and I are very close, but I did not get a championship match on Memphis Wrestling, that is for sure. Keith, what's going on? He's saying I'm the GOAT. Bah. That's about as GOAT as I got. Rob says, any spoilers on who's going to be in the Grind City Rumble? No, but I will say that it's every man and woman for themselves, and you've seen the promotional videos, you've seen the commercials, and Impact Wrestling superstar Moose will definitely be in the Grind City Rumble. Can't wait for that. Ben, what's up, man? I really appreciate you getting tickets and coming out and seeing us. One of their biggest supporters. Thank you so much, Ben. He says, what's up, Dustin? Hope Big John Dalton's okay. Well, I will tell you one thing. Going through that table is bad enough. But then going through the table and 300 pounds hitting the concrete, even if it's 200 pounds hitting the concrete, that definitely hurts like hell. And I'll tell you, after that match, Big John Dalton did miss a couple of training sessions, but who could blame him? Mike Anthony is ferocious. He could care less about anybody's well-being, and you saw that first and foremost in that no rules match. But Big John Dalton did call out Mike Anthony, and he paid the price. Now we're on the collision course to episode 100, the milestone, if you will. Gun Show versus Mike Anthony, one-on-one for the Memphis Heritage Champion, and I cannot wait to see that. John in West Texas says, Happy New Year's Eve, Dustin. Great episode this year for Memphis Wrestling in 2022. Go Grizzlies, and looking forward to more Memphis Wrestling in 2023. Thank you, John in Texas. Tonight, New Year's Eve, I will be hosting the Memphis Grizzlies home game on New Year's Eve in a tuxedo in front of 18,000 people, sold out. It is going to be off the charts. And then tomorrow, New Year's Day, is another Memphis Grizzlies game, and I'll be there for that one too. So we've had 4 days of basketball in a row, back-to-back Memphis Hustle, then back-to-back Memphis Grizzlies, and then we're on our way to January 15th. Oh, yeah. But there's some stuff going on before that. WWE SmackDown is in Memphis next Friday, actually, which would be this Friday. So this Friday, January the 6th, SmackDown is live at FedEx Forum, but at 5 p.m. you can come pre-party with us absolutely free at Ghost River. Ghost River is right next door on Beale Street, right next door to FedEx Forum. All ages are welcome. They have New Wing Order wings for food. It's very delicious. And then also, of course, they brew their own craft beer out at Ghost River. It is definitely made right here in Memphis, Tennessee. So come check us out. That is free from about 5 to 7 p.m. That is on Saturday, or Friday, excuse me. I'm reading your comments at the same time. But that's on Friday, January 6th, coming up. And I cannot wait to see you guys out there. Let's see. You caught up here, you guys, man. Here we go. Thank you for that comment, by the way, John in West Texas. Wrestling with MMA, not a problem, Dustin. Glad I can support in any way. Well, that money will definitely go to somebody getting a ticket to come into the WrestleCenter. I really appreciate it. Glenn, all have great New Year's Eve. Say Happy New Year. Thank you, Glenn. I really appreciate it. Joseph says, it could have been worse nonetheless. It could have been worse for Big John Dalton. What about Action Jackson returning? You guys put in the comments the parts you want to talk about or any questions that you have, and we'll go through them real quick. I have a couple of minutes before I have to get ready for the game. Patrick says, hey, I have an idea. How about we have a United Wrestling Network super show featuring everyone quarterly? Would you be interested in doing that? Yes, I would be interested in doing anything that sells tickets, Patrick, but a lot of the talent in the United Wrestling Network on the show that will air tomorrow is out in California. So those flights are very, very, very expensive. Same thing goes for Memphis heading out to California. So immediately after the pandemic, everything is very, very expensive. So I'm sure that you'll see us working together at some point when those flights go down. So that's a little bit inside baseball, but everything is budgeted, and that was one of the things that would stand in the way. Patrick. Now, with them being at the Red Carpet Rumble in Arizona on January 14th, that is fantastic. The only problem is on January 15th, we have our own television taping. So they are very busy. We are very busy, but I'm pretty sure that at some point in 2023, we will come together. I will tell you this, for everybody watching, the United Wrestling Network World Championship will be defended on Memphis Wrestling in Memphis, Tennessee at the WrestleCenter in the year of 2023. I promise you. Rob says, when are the year-end awards going to be announced? That's going to happen on Monday. Wrestling with MMA voted last night. I really appreciate it. Keith says, good job that Sick Reverend wasn't here this week. Hopefully we've seen the last of him thanks to Tommy Dreamer. Mr. BDGA says, sure enough. Oh, man, I cannot wait to see K Toomer coming up. John in West Texas says, Big John Dalton added me on Twitter last week. Good job. Rob says, I think Cassandra could win the Grind City Rumble. Cassandra has historically been in the Grind City Rumble, but now that she's the women's champion, I don't know if she'll be in the Grind City Rumble. So stay tuned for that. Remember, the winner, the last person standing in the Grind City Rumble, gets a title opportunity of their choosing at our anniversary Blockbuster Super Bout. So if a woman were to win the Grind City Rumble, I'm pretty sure that she would test her luck in a championship opportunity against Cassandra Golden for the Memphis Wrestling Women's Championship. So lots and lots of stuff out there on the line. Also with the Cobra Cup coming up in February. Lurvy says Justin Klein wants to put together a stable of his own. Won't that make Jimmy Blaylock jealous if he succeeds? Last time I saw jealousy amongst managers was Jimmy Hart and Tojo Yamamoto in Memphis Wrestling. Now that is what I call old school. And Justin Klein creating the hot shots. Apparently, looks like he is recruiting Ray Collins. So we'll have to stay tuned and see how well that works. Who believes that Justin Klein drives a Hummer and just throws his keys at people? Anyway, we'll see. Stay tuned. Keith says, I wish I could be there at the SmackDown Friday, no tickets. Well, Keith, doesn't matter if you have tickets or not. I would say come down and hang out at the pre-party, because a lot of times somebody has an extra ticket and a +1 and nobody to give it to. So Keith, come out and hang out with us. Rob says, what are your plans for tonight, Dustin? I am going to be celebrating at the Memphis Grizzlies game at FedEx Forum. Sold out house right here tonight. I cannot wait. And then immediately after, I'm going to go and hunt down wherever my lovely Maria is. And then we're going to party 2022 out of here and party 2023 in here. Sylvester says, Precious and Jennifer Justice has bitten off more than they can chew against Cassandra Golden and Gio Savage. The courtesy of the Golden Savages. I totally agree. Rico, the great, the Action Jackson return. It's great that Action Jackson returned. I can't read today. Yes, Action Jackson, a guy that I helped train many, many years ago, made his return to Memphis Wrestling here today. I cannot wait to see what 2023 holds for Action Jackson. John in West Texas says, hope Maria is doing well. Yes, my Maria is doing very, very good. Of course, she's taking care of Reese the Beast, and I imagine that she will return to Memphis Wrestling very, very soon. Lurvy says, best comeback for an independent promotion award, Memphis Wrestling. I'll take that one all day long. Keith says, anyone having a Royal Rumble viewing night? Yes, so at Dave and Buster's, that's a Saturday this year. Saturday, January 28th, you can watch WWE Royal Rumble with us absolutely free at Dave and Buster's in Memphis. And also, this is a national thing. You might not be able to watch the Royal Rumble with the stars of Memphis Wrestling, but anywhere there's a Dave and Buster's nationwide, you can watch Royal Rumble absolutely free. So check it out at Dave and Buster's. Sylvester says he voted for Cassandra Golden. Can't go wrong with that vote. Breezy said, doing good, about to go into my last semester of college. Congratulations on that. I remember when you were in probably elementary school. WrestleCenter students have presented themselves very well. Thank you, Rob. I really appreciate it. Action Jackson did as well. Grind City Rumble will be wild. That's one thing that is absolutely true. Lurvy says, what a surprise to see Action Jackson return to Memphis Wrestling. Doesn't he remind you of Memphis Wrestling legend Coco Beware? He actually kind of does, and I saw that in the live chat. That might have come from you, Lurvy. But yeah, as far as being successful and doing things inside and outside of Memphis Wrestling, beautiful drop kick, aerial maneuvers, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, Action Jackson is a very good comparison, except for not having a bird, instead having the juice pack on his back. Steve says, hope to see the return of Heather Monroe in Memphis Wrestling in 2023. Me too. Open invitation for Heather Monroe to make her return. Action Jackson coming back is the best moment, says Joseph. I thought it was pretty good too. Rob says, can't wait till Anthony versus Gunn show. Hope it's a cage match. The problem, Rob, is if we were going to have a cage, we'd actually literally have to build the cage from scratch inside the WrestleCenter, because there's no way to get it in or out. Joseph says, Grind City Rumble, here we come. Oh yeah, I cannot wait. This is going to be tremendous. Patrick Moore says, hey, I have an idea about a UWN Super Show featuring everyone from Memphis. We just talked about that. If you missed it, Patrick, you can rewind. I did touch on that. Keith, R.I.P. Don West, formerly of Impact Wrestling. Yes, okay, so let's talk about Don West, man. Very, very sad, especially right around the holidays here. I know that he was battling lymphoma, and the report that came out said that he finally had to tap out to lymphoma. But Don West was definitely a unique character. He was a broadcaster that had his own voice. Him and Mike Tenay were tremendous, and it was one of the voices of my childhood, I'm going to be honest. And it's not necessarily my childhood, but my teenage years when I'm getting into the business. It was another opportunity to potentially work for TNA Wrestling or Impact Wrestling. But thoughts and prayers go out to the great Don West, who passed away, I believe it was yesterday. Big Don West fan. I'm a fan of those guys that have their own style and their own voice. And definitely Don West had that. At times it was really loud. That was one thing about Don West, is it was really loud. Love Don West. Okay, so let me get through here. You guys have a ton of comments that I probably would never get to all of them. Big Dan says, once again, a big thank you to the fans for making Memphis Wrestling what it is today, and a great year. Yes, Big Dan, you were a big part of that. I appreciate you too. Rob says, Tuxedo, you be the only penguin with great hair. You guys will see what I got on. I might match up what I had on TV today. SmackDown pre-party, here we go. I can't wait for that. Again, that is this coming Friday. Action needs a parrot. I think the juice box is just fine. Patrick says, is this Action Jackson the same guy from Texas that was a legend? I don't know if he was a legend in Texas, but he definitely wrestles in Texas. I think it's Texas-style wrestling where he is. Keith hates the Reverend. Well, it's not very hard to do. What's up, Coley? How are you? Action Jackson, big thumbs up. Action Jackson, lots of Action Jackson love here. Gun show will look good in gold. Well, he'll have his opportunity, that's for sure. Jackson doesn't need a parrot to be great. He has his own style. When he says action, you say Jackson. To complete the Coco vibe, I got ya. David, y'all brought back old school pro wrestling. Thank you. Well, you are welcome, and thank you for enjoying it. Let's see. Joseph, United Wrestling Network plus Memphis Wrestling Super Show. Please make it happen. Joseph also voted today, so thank you for that. John in West Texas, Booker T possibly returning to Memphis Wrestling in 2023. Oh my gosh, I would love that. But he's under contract with NXT at this point, so I'm not really sure what his availability would be like, but we could definitely check it out. Saw Action Jackson at Wildfire Wrestling Minglewood Hall like 8 years ago. Well, if you were there for that, you probably saw me beat Action Jackson back then at Minglewood Hall. Wow, a Minglewood Hall reference. Wow, 8 years ago. Can you believe that, Maria?
No.
8 years ago.
Good memories in there.
Definitely good memories. I won the Southern Heritage Classic there. I think I beat Action Jackson in the main event, actually, if I remember correctly. Stacy says, with the new Daisy opening, will Memphis Wrestling invade the Daisy? I don't think that there's going to be an invasion at all, Stacy. I think they're probably going to invite us to the new Daisy Theater with open arms. And if you think I haven't already been contemplating this whole situation, you know I have. Stacy, new Daisy. They got a lot of work to do over there, but once it's complete, it's actually right next door to Ghost River, so that would be perfect. A pre- and post-match party at Ghost River along with a big event at New Daisy Theater. This stuff writes itself. Come on. Larry said, thinking about legends, I was wondering if Memphis Wrestling might have its own Hall of Fame to honor the wrestlers, managers, ring announcers of yesteryear. Lurvy, we're only a year and a half old, and all that stuff has been discussed. We would definitely have a place for our Hall of Fame, so to speak, and it might not be a Hall of Fame. It might be some sort of milestone or some other type of name or what have you, but we do want that to live inside the WrestleCenter. So whenever that does happen, it will live inside the WrestleCenter, so that way people can come and see it. So that way when you come to the WrestleCenter, whether it's training or for a special event, or for the television tapings, you'd be able to see the stuff that we have on display, and then also who is in that hall or that milestone or whatever you want to call it. So absolutely, that is coming at some point with Memphis Wrestling. But at this point, we're trying to get better and better at shooting our television. Rob says, K. Toomer will be a hard man to eliminate in the Grind City Rumble. I agree. Keith, I want to see who wrestles for the Heritage title. Me too. I'd like to see UWN in Dallas, Texas. Can that happen? Patrick, I'm pretty sure. They're going to be in Arizona. It's not too far. Rob, Jimmy versus Justin in a death match would be sweet. Joseph said New Daisy Theater event in Memphis. Absolutely. Big John followed me. I didn't realize. Lurvy, Justin Klein wants to recruit Ryan Rembrandt in his stable. I hear in the chat of 97 episode. Well, we'll see about that too. Hot shots are growing by the week, it looks like. When Jimmy says Hummer, he means Yugo with a leaky tailpipe. Oh my gosh. Poppy Limelight coming to Memphis. Forgot to tell you all, happy belated anniversary to you both. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. Any new additions coming to the women's division? Stay tuned. Lots of stuff going on in the women's division coming up. Pelicans Grizzlies will be a great game today, and Kings Grizzlies tomorrow. Oh, I hope we leave with 2 victories. That would be great. I wish I was in Savannah, Georgia. Well, you can watch us in Savannah, Georgia, but that is definitely probably outside of our touring area, to be honest with you. Ben, any possibility that Jimmy Hart will come to Memphis Wrestling? Like to see him give Hollywood Jimmy a little talking to. Oh, man, me and Jimmy Hart go way back. I'd love to have Jimmy on the program. Stay tuned, Ben. And now teaching elementary. Wow. Breezy teaching elementary school. Where was the juice pack? I'm not so sure. Steve says Don West was a class act. I totally agree. Robert says, will there be a match to decide the challenger for Danny Limelight in the United Wrestling Network Championship? More than likely. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to play out, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get Danny Limelight here to defend the title. Great pro wrestling announcer Don West. Don West was the best commentator. Rest in peace. Didn't get a chance to watch the show, but I'm at work. I heard starting next week the show airs at 5 p.m. Dennis. Okay, so Dennis, only on CW30 Memphis. So the time change will go from noon to 5 p.m. only on CW30 Memphis television. So that nothing else will change. YouTube will stay the same. CBS Jackson, Tubetown, every single other place that you watch Memphis Wrestling will stay exactly the same. But on CW30 in Memphis, we will move to 5 p.m. starting next week. Once again, I'm going to repeat that. This time change affects nothing except for CW30 Memphis. It will air at 5 p.m. starting next week. Steve says, thank you for a great year, man. Thank you. Let's see here. Arturo says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year back to you. Patrick would like to see UWM branch from Dallas, Texas. Can that happen? Possibly. I think they tried it previously. Also, keep an eye on Louisville. Minglewood Hall did have great shows. There are 2 Action Jacksons. The elderly one did wrestle in Texas. All right, well. I was at Lawler versus Steiner. I was involved with Lawler versus Steiner. I was in that match. Keith Jordan, I watched your match. Your hairstyle was very short with blonde hair. YouTube. Oh, that was very, very long time ago. Like 20 years ago, Keith. Tell Maria, Nikki Jones from from Horn Lake. Okay, I'll tell her. HM. Well, hello there. How are you doing, Nikki Jones? Steve Bonner's here. Almost 2 years for Memphis Wrestling. What an accomplishment. 200 episodes as well. So I know that we're about to celebrate our 100th milestone episode of Memphis Wrestling. That means we've aired 200 episodes on CW30 Memphis and right here on YouTube, and then also on our other broadcast partners, because we had 99 episodes of Championship Wrestling presented by whatever, Car Shield, and then it flipped. It wasn't always Car Shield, that's why I said that. So Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield, there was about 99 episodes. We flipped it at 100. Now we're almost at 200 episodes. So that is a huge milestone in itself. Yeah, it's cool that we have 100, but really, 200 episodes. All right, let me get caught up real quick. Terrence Ward in the house. Victoria Vendetta, can't wait to see her in the ring. We need hardcore wrestling in Memphis. We had it last week. What is Championship Wrestling Memphis email? It's very simple. Just go to the website, bro. Keith, you know me, bro. All you got to do, come on. Championship Wrestling Memphis at gmail.com. You buy tickets, you post on our wall, you do all that stuff. You don't know our email address? You don't know how to get in touch with me? Come on. Championship Wrestling Memphis at gmail.com. That's what it is, Keith. Greg says, remember Action Jackson and Mike Anthony? They were a fantastic tag team. Yeah, they were. Don West was a great commentary and pitch man. Oh, he was a tremendous pitch man. Lurvy says it'd be interesting if we saw managers from the past make a surprise appearance. Jimmy Hart, that would be something. Greg says, Dustin, is Alan Steele going to be back? Not necessarily, but he is our head coach at our training facility, so he's still here with us. Have a great new year, everyone. I got to run. Great shows as usual, Dustin. Thank you so much, Wrestling with MMA. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in 2023. Same to you, Lurvy. Arturo, when is Memphis Wrestling coming to Massachusetts? We've got a Dave and Buster's here. You can go watch WWE Royal Rumble absolutely free there. Robert, Happy New Year to you. Look at all the watchers on the live stream. Over 200. This is very good for today's show. Absolutely. Last week was really good, too, with Tommy Dreamer. So I appreciate you guys for making that happen. Can't wait for the 2023 and Royal Rumble and Championship Wrestling, says Keith. And the other Keith says, woo! All right, folks. I've got to get ready for a huge night to ring in the new year. I wanted to just take a second to tell you guys thank you so much for supporting Memphis Wrestling, whether you're a first-time viewer or you've been viewing since day one. We really do appreciate it. We've got some awesome episodes coming up. The Grind City Rumble will be a 3-week blockbuster spectacular. Week 1 will feature tag team title match. Week 2 is milestone 100. It's Mike versus Brett, I hope. And then number 3, it's going to be the Grind City Rumble. 30 participants, every man and woman for themselves, and you never know who's going to enter. But the last person standing moves on to get a title opportunity of their choosing on February 4th at our 2nd anniversary Super Bout. So lots of really good stuff coming up. And that's what Terrence is saying. Some exciting stuff coming up over the next few months. I appreciate it, Lurvy. Thank you, Ben. Happy New Year. 2023 is going to be bigger than 2022. Thank you, Big Dan. I appreciate it. Happy New Year, Mr. BDJ. Patrick, he'd love to see United Wrestling Network in Dallas. Stay tuned. Happy New Year, John in West Texas. Happy New Year, Rob. I'm glad you found Memphis Wrestling on YouTube as well. And Keith, I do hope the gun show destroys Mike Anthony. And I know I'm supposed to be impartial, but I just can't take it anymore. Alexander says, yeah, me also can't watch Victoria Vendetta and can't wait to watch Victoria Vendetta in an intergender match. Me as well. All right, guys, I am wrapping it up. I really appreciate it. If you guys want some tickets, go to championshipwrestlingmemphis.com. If you need some t-shirts and swag, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Memphis Wrestling or go to Championship Drip. Big stuff coming up in 2023 and all new content for you guys as well. And Terrence is right. If you have Fight Plus, you can watch Memphis Wrestling there as well. I will see you guys in 2023. I am Dustin Starr saying, so long, everybody. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.